Hey guys, Ron here. So I have to do what's called a VERGE PURGE build because I got to get all that misinformation out of my head before it starts polluting and corrupting my thoughts. So we got this Phantex Evolve. We're going to do a nice R5 build in here, ITX Mini, and you don't need your tweezers and your Swiss Army knife. Hey guys, Ron here. We're going to do a step-by-step build in this Evolve Phantex case, Mini, ITX Mini. We use a B350 motherboard, which is the same one I put in the Tri-Stellar. Okay, use an SFX power supply. It's a smaller power supply, Ryzen 5. Well, I got a water cooler somewhere. I'm going to call this build the VERGE Purge. How to build a computer with the VERGE Purge. Now you can see I've built a couple of computers in my old age. Ryzen, on the left Ryzen 7, on the right i7 6400, Threadripper, D-Win full-size in-win D case. Not a bad machine. Have you seen some of my videos? Racks full of servers, all modified, GPUs built in, massive storage, lots of modifications. Tri-Stellar, nice one. Threadripper in a Cougar case. In-win mini D-frame editing type system I use, like an editing station. So I still consider myself a beginner. You know, I've been in computers since 1979. I worked on PDP-8s, LSI-11s, mini mainframes. I got the first PET 2001 when it came out. I got the first TRS-80. Actually modified them for Radio Shack from level 1 to level 2. We had to take solder suckers and remove the chips and add a ROM chip. Got the first Adam Osborne portable computers. So what we're going to do is do a detailed build in this little Mini, minis are fun to work with. Let the purge begin. First thing we got to do is get in here and open these bolts, take all the sides and panels off. And I think we got to get the water cooler radiator in first, then the power supply, but that's something you have to look at. So this is the official VERGE Purge, how to build a PC the correct way, step by step, by a one-armed guy. I mean, I got two arms but only can use one, shoulder surgery. Motorcycle accident a bunch of years ago. Was in the hospital for 8 months. Alright guys, so we'll get started. Today's assistants will be this guy. His name is Masami. Yes. Yeah, it's good. And his buddy is sleeping. He gets in the mode where he mocks you. He'll try to imitate what you say in his own way. Thumb screws on all sides, everything comes off. These screws are not screws to remove the glass, they're feet. Alright guys, so here she is all stripped down and ready to be worked on. In absolutely no circumstances, under no circumstances do you put pads to insulate the power supply from the chassis. They don't need it for vibration. Power supplies do not vibrate and make noise today. And isolating the chassis, theoretically, would not be a good thing, even though it wouldn't be isolated with tabs on the bumpers. So, no problem there. Just, I think water cooler radiator first, then power supply. That's one thing you got to do, is look at it logically and see the order of things and how they're going to interfere with each other or work with each other. Alright, so we'll be doing that. We'll be back. So I went with the Corsair SFX format, smaller than the usual ATX and all that. Small power supply, 400 watt fully modular, 450 watt fully modular, AB350 mini ITX, Captain 120 cooler, Ryzen 5 1600, 6 core 12 thread. Make it a nice mean little system. And I think I'm going to use an R9 380 graphic card that I have. That should be more than enough for what I use for this. Nice card. Typical Phantex, to give you the screws in the little tool case. I'm going to check out this power supply. Velvet case is very fancy. It's a Rolex watch. No, it's a power supply. Ah. So this form factor really is tiny. To give you an idea, compared to my hand, which is, I got big hands, but not ridiculous. My hand is bigger, way bigger. Actually, from my pinky to my thumb spread is 9.5 inches. So this is probably 4.5 inches by 2.5 by 3.5. But it feels precision. Also, it boasts that it's got silent mode. In the low loads, the fan won't turn at all. And it comes with all black ribbon cables, flat and modular. So nice. What's interesting is the Tri-Stellar and the Inwind Mini D frames take full-size power supplies. So this case is going to be tight, I can tell. But it's going to be fun. That's what makes it fun. Alright guys. Pull the whole riser bracket and cable out so there's more room to work. As you can see, but it looks like with this motherboard, there's plenty of room for the cables. That's where the motherboard is mounted. And there's access to all sides, even the top. So I think I can put that in without worrying about it. And I think the cooler radiator may have to go in before the power supply. I'm going to look at that logically in a second. Alright guys, let's put the CPU in this motherboard. This is such a great little motherboard. I used it in a Tri-Stellar and another case, another one, and they're terrific. So we'll get the CPU in there, and IO shield, throw that in before we forget, which we never do, but it's good to make sure you get it in there. And go from there. Alright guys, I'm using the power supply as a tripod, so don't make fun of me. So, Ryzen, I think 1330 pins. And there's a little diamond mark on that bottom left corner. And that always goes directly diagonal opposite of the handle. There's a marking there, but it's very hard to tell if it's really a marking. It looks like a piece in the plastic, but it is actually a marking. So zero insertion, you line that up, drop the chip in, don't press, you can press it at the end. Once it's in, you give it a little push to make sure it's settled in nice. And that's it. Already in. And usually keep a finger on there while I turn the slot thing. So that's big installation, big deal. Nice. Alright guys, we'll be back. Here you get the IO shield in there, CPU's in. Just make sure you put the IO in so that everything lines up. The wireless goes through the two holes in the end where it belongs. What's nice with Phantex is they make these cables very short and routed pretty properly for you. And they got nice grommets on the bottom here. So let's get the motherboard in, and then let's look at the power supply and water cooler situation. So I forgot to mention, on these Captain coolers, those brackets have to come out. Normally I do that first. There's a back plate that has to go in, and then you screw the mounting setup on there. Because of the way this is laid out, there's so much room, I can do that later. Just pull these two screws, and those two screws pull those brackets out. There's a backing plate that goes in with 4 screws that pop up through. Then you put these retainers on. I'll show you as we go, but just letting you know that's why I didn't do it now. Alright, we're going to tighten down this 4 screws in here. Also, you may find that once you get these screws in, a couple may not line up, so when you do get some in, don't tighten them too much, so you have a little bit of room to fudge the board, push, press, switch. Usually I like to do it one corner, and that way I've got an angle I can pull on it diagonally and then line up the holes. So we're going to tighten these down, and that's that for that so far. Alright guys. So power supply in, 4 screws, a couple of blind spots, but they have cutouts so you can get the screwdriver in there and reach the screws, which is good thinking and engineering. Definitely needed to get that in before anything else. Also, I should have plugged in the cables first, but it's too hard to manage. I got plenty of room now, so I'll pop all the cables, and then I think I'm going to use 24, 4-pin, SATA, whatever else I'm using. Get them all in there now. Okay guys, out for now. I mentioned before, there's the back. That backing plate has to come out, and the water mounting plate goes in. But there's plenty of room to do all that, and no hidden blind spots, so beautiful. Talk about getting creative. That 8-pin wasn't going to fit through anything. I would have had to pull a fan. What I did is I put the connector in between the blades of the fan and rolled it through, and then I was able to snake the cable up. So you gotta do what you gotta do, but it looks good. You won't see it. It's gonna be alright. 24 pin should be a lot easier. It's down here. Just you gotta take up all the slack for the length of the cable. Could have made custom lengths, but this isn't that exotic a system. Okay guys, we'll be back. So we got the 24 pin, we got the 3.0 USB, we got chassis fan, and we got 8 pin. And you really can't see any of that. And this panel goes up. The panel here that hides everything. I haven't gotten to yet. So, not bad. One thing you're going to learn is that you can't sometimes use your thumb and your first finger. You have to learn to use your first and second finger instead of opposing thumb. Practice picking up stuff like that. Here, let me show you. You can put it in this very showing. Doing stuff like this. You get a connector, you got to put in like, you can't put in like this. Put it in like this. Learn to get into small places that way. And pick stuff up like that. See? Anyway, and that's my right hand only. I'm left-handed, which I can't use my arm yet. So it's always something, guys. Alright, we'll be back. Making progress. The built-in shield, you really can't see any wiring. And I haven't done any real wire management yet. Just basics. As we go along, so it's not too much to clean up later. Alright guys. Hey guys, so power supply's got to be wired in through the bottom. Radiator's in. Standby. Radiator's in. Gonna pull these brackets. I think I'll get a tripod and show you guys how I do that. Pull those brackets and get the mounting for the cold plate ready for the pump. And she's doing good. She's looking good. I haven't even done any wire management yet, but going along slowly and carefully, it's made it nice already. Alright, we'll be back. Alright guys, so here we go. I'm going to cheat and use my little electric screwdriver because it's easier for me. Being left-handed, having to use my right hand for everything. So this guy comes out, the other one comes out, and the back plate will fall off. Then you've got to redo that. Let's do this one this way. Really goes against my basic way of doing things. So these are magnetic. Not my favorite, but I think I can live with it. Alright, so we got to do now is close my backing plate comes down. And what we got to do is get the AM4 backing plate, and there's a set of screws that go with that that's specific to these. Those are for Intel. And if you look on these, this outer one is marked AM4, and so that they're recessed. And there's 4 of those. So those, now this has to go in here. All I had to do was take the screw out and get it under the lip. So now I get the screw back in there. Alright. Both under the lip and both bolts in. So I'll go around to the other side and we get the bracket started. If I remember properly, this takes Let me see if I remember how to do this. See, I really like this, the way they did the setup on this. Some of the others are a lot trickier. Corsair's pretty good. Thermaltake, they use that ring with the slots in it where you got to orient it properly and get them under the little tabs. That works pretty well, but this one's one of the best. Yeah. The thing I mentioned before also, the handle here, it's always diagonal to that when it opens. That seems to be a standard thing. It's been my experience that they're all like that, so you kind of get used to the idea. Now this is the part I never remember. I think this gets the closer hole towards each other, towards the inside, so they're closer that way. That's what I remember. Could be right, could be wrong. You never know. And it has a screwdriver, cut out for screwdriver. Let's tighten it, crank it down. They got thermal paste on the cold plate already, the copper cold plate on the cooler. I'm not going to take it off and change it because they do a nice job and it works fine. But like on the other one, the thermal tape that I redid, I didn't mix. I don't like mixing. The idea. Oh, that's another thing. Might as well get into it. The other part of the VERGE purge, he had added two different. The thermal paste was already on something. He added a different thermal paste to it. So I don't know what two brands he added to it. Plus he had the tweezers and a Swiss Army knife. The Swiss Army knife is too short and the handle's too fat. You can't maneuver with it, so that's ridiculous. And power supply insulator is ridiculous. But anyway, as part of the VERGE purge, I'm using the original thermal paste that's on the cold plate. And I'm not going to add any, subtract any, change it, or do anything like that. I'm just going to get this baby mounted up there somehow. I'm not quite sure what angle I'm going to use yet. It's going to be fun. I'm going to have to lay it down to figure out the best angle for this. Okay guys, I'll be back. So guys, this was the angle I came up with this. Gives a nice twist, a nice bend in the hoses, no kinks. And it'll crank down nicely, I think. This has knurled screws knurled on it, so I can get started by hand, which I did. And so same thing with these, you torque them a little bit. You don't over crank them. You get one side tight a little bit, then you tighten up the other side. This way you get a nice even play on your nice on this. That annoys me when it happens. See what they've done is they've added because I think this is RGB. They've added, besides the pump header, they've added a colorful link. Lovely. Canted slightly, so I'll take that out and redo it just to be sure. Have a funny angle, it doesn't feel right. Oh yeah, it's getting a lot deeper, a lot less binding feeling. So you see, sometimes you just gotta double check, and it's worth redoing stuff and doing and redoing and overdoing. All right, so I think I found something else. You guys, if you're observant, will say, how are you gonna do that? So let me show you. See, they gotta put the fan in here, but the screws are here, and people will say, well, how are you gonna get to those screws? Well, it's nice because they're on the very end. You can easily disangle with this long screwdriver, no problem. You can put fan screws in there, no problem whatsoever. So I'll do that and I'll be back. But how's she looking so far, guys? What do you think? I think it's pretty good. Nice case. Alright guys, so we're going to add a fan. So another detail, the fan cables. Where do we want them to go? Probably out the back. Definitely out the back. Alright. You guys with that? Damn, I wish I had my Swiss Army knife. Sarcasm reigns supreme. Before I crank everybody down, I like to get them started. Once you have two of them, and you don't have to worry about everything else that's lined up. It will line up perfectly. Very nice, very nice. Take this guy down some more. Very nice. So we got it exhausting down, and there's an opening there. It's completely open for the fan to let air through, out or in. But I'm going out, pulling air through and in, down. Also, I haven't worn an anti-static wristband or ankle or anything since the mid-90s. Actually with servers I still do, because servers are prone. They use ECC registered memory, which is prone, and those Xeon processors are a little prone. But otherwise, it's a policy at most server companies that use servers that they want that to protect them on the insurance and everything else. But anything built after like 2006 or even earlier, you don't really need it. They're not susceptible to static. And unless you're working on a highly dry, static charged area, you should be fine. Also, I don't know how wearing a static bracelet will protect you. He said, the VERGE PURGE said it will protect you and the circuit as well. I'm not sure how it will protect you. You can't get electrocuted or hurt from these things. It's insane. Now, I don't know what these are. This is a fan. It's a 4-pin. I believe this is probably the normal fan connector, but it's on an extension. And then there's this guy. It's a 4-pin. This is probably some kind of RGB. I don't know what they're doing these days. I'll have to look in a book. Oh my god. So, Had no conflicts of fitting, or it was pretty smooth as far as the only problem was getting that base plate under the lip. I should have laid it up first and then put the screws through. But also, being an experienced builder, I forgot I don't have any RAM and I don't have a graphics card. Now I'm going to steal them out of another machine. Actually, I got this black U31, whatever that is, 21. No, it's a 31. I got an i5 6400 in there, and that's got some memory, and that's got I got an R9 380, nice gaming card with a back plate, really pretty, and a good performance. So I'll be back. So what they've done is they've added an RGB controller, which takes power from a SATA, which I didn't plug in, which I will, and then it has two of these female connectors that go. One goes onto this guy, and there's one of these on the pump. So, and this is a regular fan header. So, we got to do that. Also, I didn't think about what's nice about this board. I didn't put an NVMe or an SSD. I mean, I can add a regular SSD anytime, but on the back of this board is a M.2 slot NVMe. So anytime, even with the lip here, I got plenty of room to slide in a drive when I get a chance. I hadn't thought of that. I mean, I thought of it, but I hadn't thought of doing it right now. So when I grab one, I will do that, and that'll be cool. I probably just might do a 500 gig NVMe or a terabyte and just leave it like that. Don't even add a drive. Maybe I'll add an SSD because there's two SSD trays here. So maybe a couple of SSDs, but no spinning drives, no hard drives, no heat, no noise. Alright guys, I'll be back. I need to get a SATA cable connector in there. So what I do is, because the angle's tight, I pre-bend the end in the angle that I want. Kind of pre-bend it, so it's a little easier to maneuver. And then there you go. And that's what I mean by using your fingers, not your thumbs at times. So this will be for the two SATA drives and all the stupid RGB stuff. So basically, that's all done. Got this controller and all this crap. It's got to be buried, and that bracket's got to go back. What's nice is the GPU will hide a lot of this stuff too. I can hide stuff behind there. So, all right, I'll be back. So while I got to tighten all this up, I might as well put in a VGA cable, or a PCIe if you want to call it. Because I can't remember if that's a 6-pin or an 8-pin or dual 8-pins on the R9. It's an older card. It's a beautiful card. If it's a dual, I got to use a splitter that I have. If it's just a single, we're fine. Either way, I'll make it work. So I'll put this in now, so I don't have to worry about running it later, and we'll go from there. All right, guys. So. This card's going in. It's a nice gaming GeForce, WinForce, Gigabyte, whatever the hell it is. It's an 8-pin. And I just happen to have a 6-pin to 8-pin adapter in stock from my mining days. I got tons of connectors like that. It's good to have. And I found one 4-gig stick of Rip Jaws RAM. I'll get a couple of Corsair Vengeance. I'll probably get 2 8s. This will be nice with 16. It doesn't need more than that. And there we go. We'll go from there. Alright guys, I'll be back. I had to do the old finger trick to get the power switch in, which I did, which is fine. So I think she's graphics card goes in and she's ready to get checked out, powered up, see if she posts, and then do the detail work later. Alright guys. It just turned out to be a little tricky, guys, but I'm going to leave this chassis down, and that should be no problem. Alright, so I got the card in, I got the 8-pin adapter in, I got to get this flat cable in, and then we'll power it up, give it a smoke test, and then we'll tighten it up. Not bad, probably 3 hours and change altogether from beginning to end, with brakes and everything else. Okay guys, we're ready for a smoke test. We're going to steal the HDMI cable out of the threadripper over there, and this is how it looks underneath the hood on this guy, the little guy. Nice setup, I like it. can even lay the antennas flat so the case will still close with the wireless. So let's grab this cable. Put that into the old GPU. And we'll see if it goes. That's all we gotta do. I think there's a power switch up here. So let's see. Alright guys, look for the smoke. That's weird. I think the pump's pumping. Fan's going. The other fan's going. Now look for a post. Post toasties. I can hear the water purging a little bit, which is good because these, there you go, we got a post. Look at it. Got a little bit of noise, I think. I don't know what that is yet. Oh, it's this fan on the side here. There you go. Alright, so she's up and running, first pass, and what I want to do, have now the USB mouse and keyboard connector out of here, and just monitor the temperature real quick. Alright, I don't know if you guys can see this, but what I'm looking for is temperature and details. So let's check it out. Let's go to monitor and see what the temperatures are doing. CPU 32.5, fan 1 2136, fan 2 1267. Fantastic tuning, nice. So temperature's solid, everything's solid. Let's get a look at the other side real quick. I'll probably just put all the panels in, tighten it up, tighten up the wiring a little bit. Get all the panels on it, see how she looks tightened up. And then get an operating system, get an NVMe in there, get an operating system in there. Let's see the side. The cables are clean up. Oh, what the heck, let's look at this. It should be a I wish I could use this other hand. Extends really difficult. This controller, let's see what it does. Oh boy, corners. I wonder if this changes the cooler in the middle too. Yes, it does. It is, it is. Alright guys, I'm going to tighten it up. There's an LED header for Phantex stuff. I didn't hook that up. Wait, oh, there's the post. And there she is, guys. I got some LED RGB strips. I might put one in the back just to light up this motherboard a little bit. But I don't think I am, actually. So there it is, guys. A one-arm guy who's old. I've been in computers since before most of you guys were born. And I didn't do one thing that Verge said I should do. So it must be a good build. Alright guys, so here she is in all her glory. Personally, I think it's a terrific little case. And nice system, think about it. Ryzen 5. R9 380 is a good board. You know, it's not a 1070, 1080, but it's a good board. It's like an RX 480, almost like an RX 580. Single 2 RSB or USB 3.0s on the side there. All the stuff in the top. Alright, see you on the next one. Robotics is what we're working on next. Alright guys, ciao for now.